Joni Eareckson Tada tells a story about hearing a missionary speak who told wonderful stories about the ministry that she and her husband were doing on the mission field. And she noted that this woman was not very stylish in her appearance and not a polished speaker at all. But for Joni, these things actually made her testimony, her insights, her stories even better, even more powerful. They were just so genuine and authentic in her mind. But Joni also realized that many people in the audience that day were not impressed. And she lamented that they could not see past this woman's outward appearance, those unimportant things. And so they missed the amazing and wonderful person that she was, the way that God was using her and her deep faith, the truly important things. And this is actually an easy trap for us to fall into, isn't it? In our human sinfulness, we're prone to look at outward appearances, to focus on them. In fact, 1 Samuel 16:7 says this: "The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." And that's the truth of us. But our faith calls us to something better. It calls us to try and see people, to seek to see them with eyes of faith. The Apostle Paul talks about these eyes of faith, this spiritual vision, in his letter to the Ephesians. He calls them to use the eyes of their hearts, those spiritual eyes. So our goal is to use that spiritual vision, those eyes of faith, to try and see people the way that Jesus does. To see the true person, to see the inner person beyond just outward appearances. And if we do this, it can really change things for us. For one, we can begin to see people for who they truly are. And that's a wonderful gift for us, but also for them. It is really a wonderful thing to feel known. Sometimes it's going to mean that we'll look at someone and on the outward side of things, they may seem very put together, but beyond the surface, what we find is that they're in some real pain, and we'll have the opportunity to help. Other times, we may look at someone and they may appear to us rather plain or maybe unattractive, but looking deeper, we may find a wonderful person, a treasure that we would otherwise have missed. In still other cases, it may help us to see that someone who it seems very put together, very impressive outwardly, underneath is not what they seem, and it can save us from a lot of pain and heartache. So our spiritual vision will never be perfect, because we're not perfect, but it's an important part of us seeking to grow in faith, to not fall into the trap of focusing on outward appearances, and to grow in our ability more and more to see people in the way that Jesus does. That's a great goal for us.